Hi, all, and welcome to TWF Talks. We are going to discuss with an amazing person today, a very energetic and bubbly and relaxed and cheerful person, a mentor who is into productivity and personality development, a really energetic person by herself. So, with welcome Ms Nithya Rangarajan onto the forum. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, Amrita. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for introducing in that way. Hello, everybody. I'm Nithya Rangarajan. I'm a productivity and personal development coach. I've been into many things in the past few decades. So I've worked more than a decade as a software engineer. And then I chose to continue my passion of teaching that was there right from my childhood. And then I was training professionals on IELTS and PTE, and then I chose to work with children because of their innocence, and then that always motivates me, and they always amaze me. And then I moved on to this book writing. I took a new avatar last year, which I didn't expect at all. So I got into book writing and then podcasting, and then now I'm a productivity and personal development coach. I'm giving my sessions to mothers as of now.
Beautiful,
That's about me,
beautiful.
Amrita. Thank
Beautiful.
you.
I think you have covered almost many fortes and you have come to a beautiful place. So wishing you all success in that.
Thank
Going
you.
on, let's go into your experience. Let's talk more
Yeah.
about your experience. So after
Yeah.
many years of IT industry, right? What was the key observation you had that motivated you
Mhm.
towards training? What was the reason you came towards training?
Actually, if I should tell you the actual truth, right from my childhood, my passion was to teach. So earlier, what happened was, I think I was in my third grade in school, and suddenly my mother asked me, "What is the purpose of your life, Nitya?" Suddenly, she asked me. I don't know. I just remembered that, and I told her that I want to change people's lives for good. Okay, I want everybody to be happy. And then I immediately told her, before she could ask me the next question, I told her that I want to teach everybody. Yeah? I want to become a teacher. So from that day, no, I think that was the first goal I had in my life. And even now I have the same thing. The passion has not come down. Actually, it is increasing day by day. And IT industry, information technology industry is a wonderful industry for you to nurture that teaching skill or the training skill. And you get that immersive work experience, and you have this constant learning. You have abundant opportunities to get that constant learning and self development, and that is something I love about this IT industry. And maybe that also fueled my thoughts of becoming a teacher or trainer. So what I used to do was, when I was in the IT industry, I used to go to the academy, the department, and then ask them for opportunities to teach people there. Even though that was not my area there, but still I used to just create opportunities to fulfill my passion. So that's what was happening. And then later I realized, okay, this IT industry is something that I love to be in always. Okay, so I cannot really come out of it. So I thought, okay, it's high time I get into this training and mentoring industry. So that's how the change happened.
Superb, superb. Because you never
Yeah,
stopped, learning and trying. You actually got into
yeah,
a sector you wanted. So really nice, beautiful.
right. Yeah, thank
Superb.
you.
So I think you have an interest to teach languages and mathematics. So how did that, occur to you?
Definitely.
Why that connection? Yeah.
The reason is right from my again, it has its roots in my childhood. My family, I think most of them love to learn languages and teach. And to me, language is sound. I love sound. I don't know why, but I love sound. When people think that it is noisy, I think it is lively. So that's how I see sound. And I think incidentally, I got into speech recognition and text to speech technology in IT industry also, and then I qualified myself as a phonics teacher also. And so teaching language was, I would say, that's an exhilarating experience for me, and especially when I taught children. That was a different experience altogether. And when I taught professionals to clear their IELTS and PTE exams to go abroad and continue their studies, that was a different experience altogether. I learned, basically, I feel teaching is learning. more than
Yes,
teaching, we actually learn as a teacher, right? So
100%.
I love because you get that constant learning, you get that self development automatically, you grow yourself as a person when you teach others. So
Yes,
that's why I chose to teach them language, and then because language is something where you get a chance to express yourself. So
correct.
that was one main reason I got into that. And the second one, math. I'm just fascinated by numbers, Amrita. I don't know, right from my childhood. In my family, people used to ask me for the phone numbers. Earlier, I was the yellow pages, at my home.
Wow.
Everybody, if they want the phone numbers, they'll keep asking me. So I think I attended one of my friends, she challenged me to um, uh, tell the 100 decimal point, after the decimal point, 100 decimal numbers we have to say for that pi. Okay, so that
Mhm.
constant. So
Okay.
I took the challenge and I think I completed in less than half an hour or so. So it's so fascinating. Numbers are so fascinating for me. I don't know why. I try to even make comparisons with numbers or the number line, even the self development, the progress I make, I see it is on the positive side of the number line. So I'm always fascinated by numbers. So when I teach children, and that's at another level altogether, because children also give you different perspectives on numbers.
Mhm.
So that I think completely enjoyable when I teach numbers. I also learn a lot from them. So I think it's a mutual
Of course.
great experience that we had together.
Nice. Numbers and
Yeah.
you together make a good combination, I think. Very nice.
Hopefully, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, beautiful.
yeah.
So, a curious question. How many languages do
Mm.
you know, and what language do you want to learn next?
I have a long list actually. I know only a few languages. To be frank with you, I didn't learn Hindi when I was in my school because I was asked to choose any one of them, either Tamil or Hindi. So I chose Tamil. And
Okay.
you won't believe, I was like literally roaming on the streets along with my mother to find a mentor for Hindi. But
Oh,
unfortunately, I couldn't do that. The area in which I was, no, it was a little bit remote, and I didn't get proper mentor for that, and I didn't leave that. Okay, so then when I entered into my career, I was having that burning desire to learn Hindi, and then because it's a new language for me, and
yes.
I used to watch Hindi films earlier. When we were, I think in 90s and all, we used to have these feature films. They will
Yes.
have means one language, one South Indian
Mhm.
language, and then one Hindi, and we have that scheduled properly on Saturdays. So I used to
Nice.
watch, even though I didn't understand them, but I used to watch them. And what happened was, after entering into my career, I chose one teacher. Luckily, I got a teacher, but that was only for 1 or 2 days, and after that I couldn't actually go to the class. So I felt
Oh,
very bad, and that was there in the back of my mind. And after before a few years back, actually, my son taught me Hindi. I decided, no, I have to write this Pratmik exam. Yeah. So I wrote Pratmik exam and scored high marks. And my son was my teacher that time, and he even feels proud. Even now, he's very proud that he has taught me Hindi.
I think
And
you
I
will
was
see
in
that.
Mumbai for some time.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. So I was in Mumbai for some time, so I grabbed that opportunity to learn that language. And Marathi, I understand a little bit.
Beautiful.
But I think Hindi is easy for me compared to that. And
Yes.
I learned
Yes.
Konkani from my friend also.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
Tamil and English, that's there. And I can understand a little bit of Malayalam and Telugu. I love Telugu movies. So
Yes.
I even now I'm watching all those movies. So that flair for language is always there. Yeah,
Beautiful.
that's what I
Beautiful.
think. Yeah.
Nice. What do you want to learn next? Any particular you have a thought
Yeah,
for?
many, many. So I would say Malayalam. That's my
Okay.
favorite language, and then Telugu and Sanskrit. So I think
Beautiful.
these three are there in the list. Yeah,
Wishing you all
I
the
it will
best in
keep.
that.
I'll keep adding. Yeah, I'll keep adding. I think
Beautiful. I think that's the biggest, gift we give to ourselves. We are, refreshing
definitely.
our own learning processes and making us strong. Very nice. Wonderful.
Right, right. Yeah.
So coming into, building the confidence, many people face
Hmm.
challenges in building confidence because of the vocabulary. They get stuck at a point in English. So as you're an English
Hmm.
trainer, how do you think people can improve? What are the three techniques that you will say that they can improve on these vocabulary confidence? How can they improve on that?
Okay, so first of all, they should understand that. language is a medium of communication. It is not going to express their intelligence. So many of them actually they feel that it is an output, okay, that shows how intelligent they are. It is not that way. It is just a medium of communication. See, even without language, we have communication going on, right? On non-verbal communication. And
Yes.
I would say just think about this. You want to convey whatever is there in your brain to the other person's brain. That's all. If you are successful in that, you are a very good communicator. So don't worry about making mistakes when you are learning a language. See, I made hell a lot of mistakes when I was learning Hindi, but people around me, they were really patient to listen to me. Okay. But I didn't really feel bad about it because I was somehow trying to convey. And
Mm-hmm.
you would not believe when I moved to Mumbai, I didn't know Hindi that time. And when the carpenter and plumber came, I didn't know how to say. So I used non-verbal communication only because there was no other go for me. But then after that, I started learning Hindi. I started speaking in Hindi, and I made a lot of mistakes. But that's okay. I kept on speaking. So only when you keep speaking the language, you can master that language. Otherwise, there is no way. And once you make that mistake, just make sure that you're not making it twice. Just learn from your mistakes, how to avoid those mistakes in the future. So for that, what you can do is, when it comes to vocabulary, what I have seen people doing is having a list of words like 100 words or 10 words. I will learn 10 words in a day. That doesn't really work because
Mm-hmm.
what happens is when you have a list, you tend to forget it, right? When you are not using it for a long time. So whenever you are learning words, always learn it in with the context. How do you use that word? Where is it actually used? So learn it with the context. And the best way to learn is what I have followed is you have to start from, if you are a beginner, please start from children's books. I used to read story books. That
Yes.
will be really interesting because when you are a beginner, you actually start with that only. No, you learn the alphabets and then you move on to words and then to sentences and phrases and other things. So that's the best way I generally suggest this to people who are learning a new language. And if you are at means somewhere in not an elementary level, not in a beginner level, but you are in the next middle level kind of thing, then maybe what you can do is you can start reading newspapers, magazines, you can watch TV serials. I used to watch a lot of TV serials in Hindi because, see, watching movies, no, that's a little bit difficult because they speak really fast. You may not be able to follow that. So, what helped me a lot was to watch Hindi TV serials. Even now, I watch. So that actually keeps me, I'm hearing those words every day. So it's very easy for me to learn with the context. That is, I know how to use them and
Mm-hmm.
where to use them and how to form a sentence with that particular word. So I keep improving day by day without any speaking partner also. So I
Yes.
think that's one of the ways they can try. And the bonus tip would be I would suggest you to go with collocations. Okay, so you can avoid mistakes. See, learning grammar, I know it's a little bit difficult when we become adults, no? So you can learn that's the rule of the language, how you have to speak. But the easiest way is if you see the native speakers, always listen to native speakers. You might have a lot of podcasts. Nowadays, we have a lot of podcasts by the native speakers teaching you English or any other language, whichever you want. And what you can do is there is something called collocation. That is the words, it's a word combination. In English, especially, you can see that the native speakers, no, they speak two or three words together. So, for example, in schools, no, teachers used to say, no, don't make noise. So, making noise is a collocation. And we say, I'll have my lunch, keep in touch. All these things are collocations. We always say them together. Take a break. Okay, so pay attention to this. All these are collocations. So, we don't use other words there. So, when you learn it as a collocation, that's a combination of words. You don't make mistakes in grammar. That's very easy for us to learn than having the list of words. That's what I feel, and that's what I tell my students also. And they've seen very good results coming out following this particular thing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I
Beautiful.
hope this helps.
I think the tips were very, spread out on various places, starting from TV, being a way of learning the language better,
Yeah.
collocation. It covered a lot of things, and I think people are going to work on this and get much better results. So beautiful, very nice. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So going on, how do you think we can be responsible for our self growth? Now we have spoken about confidence. How can we be responsible for our self growth, and what step can we take to polish ourselves for the better future?
Okay. I would say generally, no. If somebody asks us, no, which phase of life do you like the most? Most of us, what would we generally say? Generally, what would we say? We'll say, childhood.
Yes.
I was with my parents, no responsibilities. I was really happy. But the problem when you give it a deep thought, actually responsibilities are blessings. We always see them as burden. Because in children, when we were children, we didn't have responsibilities. We tend to love that phase of life. But if you think deeply, the next phase of life is where you got all that knowledge, all that information, all that growth in you, right? Yeah, generally, as children, we always develop. Our parents are always there to support us. But as an individual, when did you grow? Only when you came out of that childhood, right? You were
Yes.
left alone in this world and you started growing well. So that
Mhm.
is when you took hold of that responsibility. It's a shoulder where you can actually rely on. Always see that as a blessing, I would say, not as a burden. And there are three things I would generally say. See, if you want a bright future, no, always you have to work on this particular day. This today is going to decide your future. That's what Mahatma Gandhi also says. So
Mhm.
first thing, if you want to concentrate on personal growth, I would say you have to stop procrastinating. Okay, so that doesn't really work for you because you are wasting your time, you're wasting your effort also. So please stop procrastinating and be an immediate action taker. And the second one I would say is we have to stop blaming others. We have to take responsibility for our actions. Otherwise, we always play this game, a blame game, no, throughout our life, which is not really good on our part, and we don't really grow when you play this blame game. Instead, you take the responsibility, voluntarily take responsibility, is what I am recommending. And I've done this many times, and I've seen the results are really great. And it helps you to grow to a level which you haven't imagined at all.
Good
Some
to see.
unimaginable level you move to when you take responsibilities, when you voluntarily take it. And I think the third thing I would generally I would say people who know me, they always call me independent because I never depend on others. I never believe in depending on others for motivation. I'm saying.
Mhm.
So yeah, we all are emotionally dependent. So that's a different game. But what I'm saying is, don't wait for others to come and motivate you to move ahead in life. Please always depend on yourself. You try to self motivate. So that is the best thing you can do. Always be independent, always be responsible, always be an immediate action taker so that you can grow in your life. So responsibilities are blessings, they are not burden. So that thought
Beautiful.
we should have is what I feel.
Wonderful. So I think you have changed the whole perspective of responsibility and made it so positive. The positive energy is growing into the responsibility part also. Wonderful. Well put. Well put.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great. So, as you were speaking about authoring books, right? So, as an author of
Hmm,
big books, great books, can you give us a glimpse of the journey of writing? How to start and what is the process a person needs to go? And three key
hmm.
tips to write better. How can we write better? How can we improve on our
Yeah. What actually happened was last year in April 2022, I started to look out for opportunities to write blogs. Okay, because I was writing since childhood, but I didn't really remember that. I forgot that at one point in time. And suddenly last year, I felt okay, see, I have to start improving my writing skills. And I'll start writing blogs. Means I was writing blogs earlier, so I thought, okay, I'll continue. That was my aim. Book
writing?
writing was not at all my goal. I didn't even think about it. And suddenly, when I was just scrolling the social media in my phone, I came across an ad. Many ads actually. After that, many ads came in. Once we click on one ad, no, FB
Correct.
actually the algorithm works and gives you similar ads. So that was on book writing again and again. So I attended a few workshops and I decided to enroll in one of the workshops. See, I was interested in writing, but I was not very confident whether I'll be able to write a book because I'm not a book writer by profession, so I've not done anything related to writing to improve my writing skills. So I was a little bit worried. Okay, so whether I'll be able to write a book. See, I've been writing essays and other things, stories and poems and other things and all, but book writing is completely different. So I thought, okay, let me give it a try. There's nothing wrong in trying, so I just gave it a try. I entered into the workshop and I enrolled in different programs by my mentor. Shweta Samota. I should really thank her. I am expressing my gratitude in this interview to her because she is the one who guided me properly to write a book, and she asked us to come up with a book idea. So,
Mhm.
my tips to writers would be when you finalize the book idea, no, you have to choose something that is very, that is something ingrained in you that you feel deeply connected to. Otherwise, I think you'll not be able to put your thoughts into proper words. Because when you are deeply connected to that, it is very easy. Effortlessly, you start writing the book. Because even when I started, no, I finalized the book idea as self motivation because what I feel is the dominating trait I have since my childhood. The first thing I could think of was the self motivation only for me. So I went with that. And then, see, when I finalized the book idea, I didn't have any content ready for that. So what I did was, okay, see, this was a gut feeling for me because I feel deeply connected to self motivation. So the first step is always choose a topic that you feel deeply connected to. Then the second tip would be always plan for that topic. How can I actually develop this topic into a book? That is what I want to give the readers. Okay, how am I going to add value to the readers here? So for that, without understanding the reader's psychology, see, they want to read your book for different reasons. See, when you are writing a non-fiction book, it is for self-help. Okay, so they want to get some transformation there. Or if you're writing a fiction book, it could be for entertainment. There are different things readers look for in books. So decide which one are you going to give. Make a promise to the reader that I will give you this experience. So what I did was I thought from the reader's point of view. I love non-fiction books. I love reading them as it is. Okay, but I have seen readers not reading non-fiction books only because they don't have stories. So
Okay.
what I decided was I will write the book in a story format so that it is easy for them to read and also they can get some information from that and they can also see a transformation within themselves. So I chose that route and that would be the second tip I would like to give. And the third tip is always plan for the topic properly. That is the outline or have your book outline well designed. Okay, so spend time on that because the reason I'm saying this is even in IELTS PTE, we used to tell students about this. No, they have to write an essay plan because when you plan an essay or anything for that matter, if you are making mistakes, no, you can correct it in the plan itself. You need not execute the plan, go to till the end, and then come back to the first. See, that is going to waste a lot of time and effort for you, and the resources are also wasted. So it is better you write down the plan, spend time in that planning itself. And if you feel that okay, there's a mistake here, you can always go back to that plan, change the plan alone instead of executing that. So before executing, you are avoiding the chances of this plan failing, and you always have a plan B for that. That's okay. At least 70% of your plan should be ready when you are starting your book. So these are the three tips I think I can give for people who are writing.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think it gave a lot of
Mm.
solution to them. The planning phase
Yeah,
and the outline is a very critical part which I have seen many
yeah.
people suffer with, and I think I second you on whatever you said. It's lovely, beautiful.
Thank you, thank
So
you.
great. So how was your interest into podcasting? Podcasting after book, you into podcast. That's huge.
Okay.
Yeah.
This
So
podcast, no, say at least book writing was not my goal. Podcasting has been there since childhood. I think you might be able to connect in 90s, no, Amrita. We just had television and radio, right?
yes,
To connect
yes,
with people outside our houses, right? We didn't even
yes.
have proper telephones and all that time. So
Correct.
what happened was every day I used to listen to the radio and I used to listen to songs and I love the live programs that come there. No, we have interviews and we'll also have these song selections. So I used to write letters to
Correct.
the
Correct.
radio yeah, station. And then I used to wait whether they are actually playing my song or not, happy telling my name. And when people call and talk to them, no, the live programs, I feel I'm
Yes.
actually listening to them in person. So my
Nice.
purpose of life, as I told you in the beginning, I was telling my mother that I want to change people's lives for good. I want them to live happily. And my purpose is always, I can see that I always want to connect with people. I want to talk to people more often. So
Okay.
I felt this radio was a channel which was actually enabling me to talk to them because those days the television was also there. But if you can understand, during our childhood, we didn't watch television much. We used to usually listen to radio more than television. So that radio, that thing, no, that somehow it sat in my heart, and some strong foundation for that radio channel was happening inside me. But I didn't really give it a thought until I think a few years back. And then I tried actually opening a radio channel, but then it was not very conducive. The environment was not very conducive. But what happened last year was when I published my book, self-published my first book, and then I was looking to market my book, I found this podcasting platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, it's really easy to actually start a podcast if you have the idea. And again, I would say for podcast also, please have an idea that you can deeply connect with. Okay, so that you can truly experience within yourself. So when I started again, I started this on self motivation. I feel really happy. Wow, I'm going to actually realize my dream of starting a radio channel. So I'm going to start a podcast. And then I started this March only, March 2023 I started, and it's been 6 months. I think it's doing great. It keeps my energy levels high when I talk to people. When I record for my podcast, also, I feel I am having people in front of me and I'm talking to them. So I feel really
Yes,
happy
of
getting into
course.
podcasting. Yeah.
So beautiful. So beautiful. So one question, like, how do you manage time for podcasting, time for training, time for the family? How do you manage it?
Uh, that is why I think I'm a productivity coach. So what happened was even I was finding it difficult, Amrita. But then what I decided was I have prioritized my tasks clearly. I know what are my goals. Every day I have three goals. Okay, so I call them mini goals. So I know my goals very well. That is long-term goals, and my I make sure that my goals are aligned with my purpose and passion. So if
Mm-hmm.
you see book writing or podcasting or this coaching that I'm doing, all these three, they again boil down to the same purpose only, connecting with people. If I was just thinking about all these things, see, I'm doing book writing. The reason I told my mother when I was in third grade, I told my mother I want to teach people because I want to make their lives better. Okay, so I considered
Correct.
that as a social service. And during my childhood, I thought, okay, that is the only way I can make an impact in others' lives. That
Right.
was my thought. But as I grew, I understood there are many other ways to do that. And when it comes to book writing or podcasting or coaching, there is an impact that we make in others' lives for good. And since it is well aligned with my purpose and passion of teaching, I think I am able to make some time for all these things, prioritize them properly, plan them properly, and I'm very clear with priorities. And I never hesitate to delegate or outsource my work. I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay with that always. And I don't look for external validation at all. There is no question of what will others think in my life. I think
Amazing.
right from my childhood that has been there. My mother used to tell me that you have that attitude, right from your childhood because others' comments haven't affected you much, and that's a great thing you have. That's what she used to tell me. And I think that has helped me a lot because, see, it is not that you have to ignore others' comments. You can always listen to them, but you should have something called self justification. I think that internal validation should be enough for you to move ahead in life.
100%.
As long as you
Yes.
don't affect others' lives, I think you can always progress with what you want in life.
So true. So
That's
true.
what
So
I feel.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
That actually is the biggest trait, I would say. I think that's a very big trait you're having. Wonderful. So great.
Yeah.
So
Thankfully, yeah. Yeah.
what are
Yes.
the
Yes.
various products and the programs that you're offering for your
Ah.
in your coaching?
Okay, so this coaching is on productivity and personal development. So what I'm doing here is I'm now concentrating on mothers because see there are a lot of productivity programs out there and personal development programs out there. But what I felt was mothers are the ones who need this the most, and it has to be well designed for mothers because see mothers they have a unique mindset and all. So the productivity courses generally teach you about different methods to improve your productivity. They talk about prioritization, time management and all these things, right? But
Yes.
as far as I know, as a mother, I feel time management is not a big deal for mothers. But there are some other things that are preventing us from being productive. And if you see, no, our children, if they have not learned for the exam, they'll be really tensed. Okay, so suppose tomorrow is the exam. Today they have not learned it, then they'll be tense. But we, after doing everything every day, we are doing so many tasks, but still we are always tense, always stressed out, always feeling guilty. The reason is something else. You have to analyze that root cause. So that I think no course is actually doing as of now. So I thought I have to go deep into that. I analyze the root cause along with the mothers and I make them aware of the mindset shifts that they have to do. Because without that, without analyzing and addressing the root cause and solving that problem, productivity, how many other techniques we learn, we will always be having that stress and guilt. So I want to remove that stress and guilt from mothers, make them feel happy, because I am experiencing that. I was also in the same position a few years back. I think I have also explained this in my training program, when one day my son, no, suddenly he called me. I was working in the corporate, and he suddenly called me and told me, Mama, you have actually lost your smile. You've forgotten your smile. This is what he told me. I was
That's
really shocked. Oh, what is this? He's saying, I've forgotten my smile itself. And then I felt really bad. I was thinking deeply about this. See, he's telling me something that I have
mm,
to think about deeply. And when
yes.
I sat to think deeply, I love my career. I love my job. I was not having any problem in that job. I was not having any problem in the family, but still I'm always stressed out, always feeling guilty that I'm not being a good mother or a good partner or something like that. Then I understood slowly, slowly. It took a lot of time for me to understand, because I was trying to find all the ways by myself. So it took a lot of time for me to understand that these are the root causes. This is where we are actually lacking. So
Mm,
all these productivity techniques are actually secondary, Amrita. That's what I feel. These things, the root cause analysis and the mindset shifts, I think these are the major things that we have to understand as mothers, and then we can proceed easily to the productivity opportunities, because
beautiful.
we are great learners, no doubt about that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
these things, if we address, I think we'll be successful in our life. And I have seen the taste. I've tasted the success also following these methods. So that's why I put it into a framework that will be easy for mothers to follow.
Others.
That's what I'm doing right
Wonderful.
now. Yeah,
So I think it's a tried and tested method which you're giving to them. So
yeah,
that's
definitely,
wonderful.
definitely. I have
Yes.
tested it on me and my friends. Yeah.
So nice. Super. So your final thoughts to the budding entrepreneurs, students, mothers, and all the people out there who are listening to this onwards.
Okay, I will tell two things actually. See, one is for whoever it is, I have these two formulas. Okay, I'm fond of acronyms because see, even in my book, no, I've given an acronym because after we read the book, we may forget whatever we learned from the book. So, but if
Mm.
I give an acronym, they will easily remember. So, I have
Remember.
given SMILE as an acronym for people who have taken my first book. Now, here in my life, I am following this. I call this IST. IST is actually if your intention is good and you are very sincere about attaining that intention, that is, you're working towards that intention in a very sincere way, and you're being true to yourself, that is IST. I feel
Yes.
you need not actually worry about anything else. You can always go forward in your life, move ahead in your life with all the success you want. So I is for intention should be good, and S is for being sincere, and T is for being true to yourself. So whenever I have struggles, okay, so I say this formula to me, okay, IST, that's it. I'll just check all these things. It's like a checklist for me. Whether my intention is good, am I sincere, am I really true to myself, then it's fine. Okay, I need not worry about that. This actually makes me resilient to all the struggles in life. And the second I actually follow is ECG. I call this ECG. That's electrocardiogram is different. That actually takes care of the pulse rate or the heartbeat rate. No,
Yes.
this ECG is actually E stands for effort. We should always make an effort to improve ourselves, no, at least by 1% every day.
Yes.
And then C is for being consistent in that effort. That is where the key lies
Consistency.
actually.
Yes.
And then, yeah, so put that effort, be consistent in your effort, and then reach the goal easily. That is for G. Or you can even say grow, anything. So whenever I feel a little bit demotivated, though I am always high on self motivation, sometimes I also feel demotivated. I also feel unmotivated. So in that case, I say, okay, ECG. So that's some formula I should have so that I'm able to get that instant energy and motivation. So I say ECG. So I have to make an effort and I have to be really consistent. Let me go, and then I will grow easily. Or I'll reach my goal easily. So these are the two things I would like to tell them. And always you have to aspire to be the best version of yourself, because what I feel is aim high. Don't worry about all these things, whether it is practically possible or not. Don't worry about that. Aim high, aspire to be the best version of yourself, work on yourself, and always keep improving yourself. So when you do that, know what happens? You move from aspiration to inspiration. So that's my
Wow.
tagline for my book also. Because you keep aspiring, you move to a certain level, you start becoming a leader.
Mm-hmm.
From a follower, you become a leader and you start inspiring others. So
Yes.
it is better to always move from aspiration to inspiration. You can always work towards that. And if you want some productivity tips for that, I can also give. As I told you, I'm always fascinated by numbers. I like these two productivity techniques. One is that 5 second rule. You must have heard about it. That was popularized by Mel Robbins. And what is that? When people are not having motivation, no, or when they feel really down, oh, when should I really go and do this? When I have all these negative thoughts, no, what we can do is we can just count down from 5 to 1. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going. That's it. I'm doing it. So that's that immediate action takers 5 second rule. So when you ask me about the second productivity technique that I love the most is to combat this procrastination, which is the major problem I think for everybody. You mentioned entrepreneur or students or anybody for that matter, is that 5 minute rule. Because when you are not interested in something, no, that is when you need that motivation to work, right? So if we, why do we generally procrastinate? We are either we feel the task is difficult, or we are not having clarity about the task. We are not having clarity about the time it would take. And that is when we feel really bored. You actually don't feel like doing anything. So what I would suggest is go with this 5 minute rule. Keep a timer. Okay, I will work on this for 5 minutes. That's it. Okay. Then when you know that it is going to take only 5 minutes for you, then you will be okay, fine. I'll at least start. You can at least try this and start the task. Once you, because starting is really difficult. You need that commitment to start a particular task, to begin a particular task. So once you start, I think slowly, see, instead of, see, in a week's time, if you are not at all working on that particular task, that means you have spent 0 minutes, right? But when you use this 5 minute rule every day, if you just work for 5 minutes also, you are spending around 30 minutes for that particular task in a week. Even one day, you're just spending 5 minutes. So 6 days, if you work also, it is 30 minutes. Even if you
Yes.
leave Sunday for rest, if you're not working on the task. So I think 30 is always better than zero. So
Zero.
you have
Yes.
started the task and it will be easy for you to progress, because that momentum will come once you start only, right?
Yes.
So I would suggest people can go with these two productivity techniques also if they want to.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. I
Yeah.
think we got a bunch of new ideas and freshness from this interview. So I mean, it was
Thank you
really
so much.
refreshing for me, and I'm looking forward to having many more discussions with you. I think you're an energy powerhouse. I would call you that. So
Thank you
thank
so
you
much,
for that, and
Amrita.
lovely talking with you. Have a great day, and wishing all success to your program and all the mothers who are involved in your program. So thank you
Yeah.
so much, and have a great day.
Thank you, Amrita. Thank you for this opportunity to actually, you have enabled me to talk to many people through your channel. So I thank you for that. So please accept my gratitude for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Same here. So it's likewise. Thank you so much and take care.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Bye.